Well, happy Tuesday morning to you, everyone, and welcome back to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Thanks so much for being with me, and we are continuing our study of the eschatology of the parables of Jesus, and I've been sharing with you how the eschatology found in the parables falsifies the futurist views of eschatology. I've shared with you that Luke chapter 19, which is the current focus of our discussion, completely destroys the dispensational doctrine of a postponed doctrine of an earthly physical rule, because Jesus was nigh unto Jerusalem. The Jews believed that Jerusalem was going to be the locus of the kingdom, and they thought the kingdom was coming right then. And Jesus said, no, I got to go away to receive a kingdom. And so, look, dispensationalists tell us Jesus did not receive the kingdom when he went back to heaven. When he went back to heaven, the kingdom had been postponed or was postponed. There is no reception of the kingdom in heaven by Jesus. Well, guess what? Luke chapter 19 likewise falsifies the amillennial view of eschatology. And here's why. The amillennial view agrees that Jesus in Luke chapter 19 was teaching that he had to go back to the Father and there to receive the kingdom when he sat down at the right hand of the throne in heaven. That is taken from Psalms 110. Set at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. By the way, which is cited or alluded to, echoed 32 times in the New Testament, more than any other singular verse. So it was obviously important to the New Testament writers to convey to the readers that Jesus had been enthroned in the heavenly realm at the right hand of the Father. That's absolutely critical. So far, so good for the amillennialist, okay? But then Jesus said, this nobleman who went into the far country to receive the kingdom would return. What would he do when he returned? Well, there's an embassage had been sent to say, we will not have this man to rule over us. So what does the king do? What does the king do? You see, receive the kingdom there. He's coming back as the king. What does he do when he comes back? Well, guess what? He exercises the sovereignty that he had received in that foreign country. How does he exercise that sovereignty? By judging those who had rejected his sovereignty. Gather them before me and destroy them. By the way, is there any doubt about what this is about? Jesus was going to come back in judgment of the Jews who rejected him, who rejected the kingdom, who rejected his sovereignty. And you may be going, well, hey, Preston, how does that refute amillennialism? Well, here's the deal. In the amillennial world, the majority view, it's certainly the view that I was taught growing up as a young man in the amillennial world, it is taught that when Jesus returns, supposedly at the end of time, but when Jesus returns, he gives up the kingdom. He surrenders it. Now, this is based on a misinterpretation of 1 Corinthians chapter 15. He must reign until all enemies have been put under his feet. But you see, it's believed that Jesus puts those enemies under his feet while he's in heaven. No. Luke 19, those enemies are destroyed at his coming, at his parousia. But then, you see, they have him completely surrendering, abdicating the throne. Why doesn't Jesus say, well, he went there to receive the kingdom, and that's where he would rule and reign from, and then he'd come back and give up the throne? What kind of king abdicates the throne at the time of the destruction of his enemies. Oh, well, okay, no, those guys didn't want me to rule and reign, so I'm going to destroy them, and after all, I'm going to give up my rule and reign. Really? Now, there's more here. There's much more here, and we will begin to take a look at it in our next installment on the flip side. In the meantime, you know, I've told you about Joel McDermott's book, Jesus v. Jerusalem. That Joel does some truly excellent work on the parables. And Luke 19, for instance. Go to my website, eschatology.org or BibleProphecy.com. Order the book by Joel McDermott, Jesus v. Jerusalem. Make mention of the fact that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I will refund your shipping. Now, you have to overlook part of the book in the back that's very, very weak regarding his futurist eschatology. But in the parables themselves, you will see some fine exposition. So order the book, Jesus v. Jerusalem, by Joel McDermott. And we will demonstrate more from Luke chapter 19, how it is destructive to futurist eschatologies. We will do that when we see you on the flip side.